I've been in India over 900 days, and as an American, I love to dive into Indian culture and see what I can learn from it. And as someone who's worked in the dating industry, if we want to call it that, since 2009, I hope that I can offer a unique perspective if you're watching this and curious what's so cool about love, romantic relationships, and marriages here in India versus America. Before we dive in, I'll share a little bit about my background. I was a creative type who wanted to be a freelance writer online, and as I was starting, I was writing articles for anyone I could find. And one job that I got was for a dating coach in Arizona.
Hey,
and
how you doing?
at that time, I was using online dating personally, and I thought I could help her explain the subject in a way that would resonate with her audience. Well, that job ended up leading to other jobs in the dating industry, from dating advice for men to women's health magazines. So over 5 years, I did a lot of articles and writing for those type of companies. Then 5 years ago, I started working at one big company that was an online matchmaking company. Now, unlike typical matchmaking services, where if I was a matchmaker, I would then look through this list of people and let's hook you up with Susie, Jen, and Rebecca, giving you 3 dates. The prices on those services is really expensive. I was working at a company that would use online dating to find matches and dates for our clients. It's sort of interesting, I realize. Anyways, as a writer who is used to writing for companies, I found a lot of joy, and it was very rewarding to be working with a client who I thought looked really cool and like someone that deserved dates, and then to be able to help set them up where they would eventually leave the company in a relationship. That was very rewarding for me, as opposed to being a writer who just writes for a company and helps sells more stuff. Anyways, I'm just sharing that so you have an idea of my perspective as someone who has worked with couples in America and is curious about the differences here in India. And I'm also curious, what can Americans learn from Indians as their dating and romantic relationship culture is a bit different? The first thing Americans can learn, I think, is to take more help from friends and family. Ask any American about Indian relationships and they're gonna think about arranged marriages. Many may not have a positive view on the subject as well, but I believe that's because we don't really understand it. And maybe the negative stories are more widely published in the media. But if you think about it, it's a pretty smart way to find a partner. I mean, for myself, I picture myself as an 18-year-old or 20-year-old who's starting to date and maybe thinking about a long-term relationship or marriage. Was I the best judge of my romantic partner? Unfortunately not. So what if I had gotten help from my family during that time, like is pretty common here in India? Would that have benefited me? It probably would have. Now, not everyone has an arranged marriage here in India. The stat that I saw was 84% of people between 18 and 34 do have arranged marriages. I know there are sort of mixed arranged marriages in the sense that some family members will set someone up and then ultimately it's the person getting married who gets to decide. I know also that love relationships here in India are becoming more common around younger generations who are, you know, rebellious and want to do their own thing. Well, if we look into the data a little bit, we can also see that these marriages appear to be working. India has only like a 1.5% or 1.1% divorce rate, when America's is far higher. But I also think that an argument could be made that having a higher divorce rate isn't the worst thing in the world, since some relationships might be better off ending. Personally, myself, my parents were divorced, and while I don't believe that that's negatively impacted me, maybe it has. But getting help from friends and family to help arrange a match seems like a great idea. Another thing we Americans could learn would be to focus less on dating forever. Here in India, dating without the express purpose of heading towards marriage isn't really done. Whereas in America, it seems like it's common for young people to date because it's fun. In India, 53% of people did not approve of dating before marriage. When I was living in Austin, Texas, a young city there where dating is very common, it was much more uncommon to meet someone who was only looking for a relationship very quickly and to settle down. In fact, it was very common or even assumed that if you went out on a date with someone, they were probably dating other people as well. Until you have the exclusivity talk, it's safe to assume that person is dating other people. This different philosophy also means that Indians have fewer bedroom partners than Americans do. First off, though, I should clarify the myth that Americans really have a lot of casual sex, because that's not necessarily true. Americans have more casual sex than Indians do. But from what I'm hearing, some people think that if you go over to America and you go on a date with a girl, that it's automatically gonna lead to you know where. That's not the case. In America, just like India, most people are looking for a compatible match that they can turn into a relationship. In the work that I did, it was very rare for a guy even to be interested in only casual dating. Almost every client we had wanted to find a partner and ultimately probably get married. But Americans do end up sleeping with more people along that journey than Indians do. Men who are between 25 and 45 sleep with about 6 people in their lifetime. Women in that age range sleep with about 4 people. In India, most people are having sex after they're married. I couldn't find the data on how many partners Indians had, but I would bet it's much less. One piece of data that I did find is that North Indians have more sex than South Indians. Sorry guys. Americans could also learn to meet people in ways besides online dating. In America, most people these days are meeting their spouse through online dating. 49 million Americans have tried online dating. Although using those services can be very productive. But Americans these days are less used to meeting people in the traditional means of finding someone in their social circle and starting to date. Online dating in India is still not as popular. I get the sense that it's what online dating was in America like 5 to 10 years ago. And as someone who's helped many people use those services to find great partners, I still think that people probably rely on it too much when you should use online dating when you're at home and you're got nothing better to do, but then also have a healthy social life, going out, having hobbies with other people, going out to places where there might be someone who you're interested in, and using both of them together. In America, they're reporting this dating app fatigue. Basically the concept that what's happening is people are so used to seeing attractive people in their phone and swiping left or swiping right and not having to do anything, that if you go on a date and it's just so, you may be less apt to go on a second date because you'll just keep swiping to see Bill and Ted and someone else starts to message you, so you get distracted. When it may be more beneficial for you to go on a second date with a so first date guy, because dating can be difficult and seeing if you have chemistry can be difficult, and investing in one person can lead to so many more rich rewards than if you only sit back at home and swipe as you're eating junk food. Is that only me? What is up, ladies? One thing India is obviously very inspirational for are their strong family values. Quick interruption, if you're liking this video, please tap that like button, help the video go out to more people so that we can show them the truth about India. It seems like even if marriage isn't arranged, that the parents and the family exert a strong influence on that couple. You could have multiple generations living in a house together. And that saying that it takes a village to raise a family does seem true. I also wonder if this helps relationships ultimately be successful, because what I know is no matter how compatible and strong a relationship is, it is gonna go through hard times, and having family members support you seems so important. The people I've met here in India are really good at that. Those are some habits that Americans could learn from Indians. What about you? Please let us know in the comments. Show us your wisdom. Although I will say that I'm not exactly in my 20s anymore, and I'm unmarried, and I believe that the experiences that I've had dating different people have taught me so much that if I eventually settle down, which I'm open to, which I'm excited about, if that happens, I'm also okay being single. But if that happens, I believe I bring much more wide range of experiences that could help me. Although I could be wrong. What do I know? And for some eating habits Americans can learn from Indians, check out this video here.